Alright everybody, it's Backslashton here, and today we're going to be reading Wake Me Up by Drax99. This story, it is kind of marked as sad, I think, but he kind of, and I know I said in previous videos that I wouldn't do sad stories, but I feel this one is, when I mean sad, I don't mean like really sad and dark, depressing stories. This one is kind of sad, but that's not the main focus of it. I mean, it's literally only marked sad and human, but it's not the point. It's not entirely sad. There is that like kind of sense of it's happy, but with kind of like, and again it gets sad, and then it gets happy in the end, and then they throw a curve. I don't know how to explain it, but I only read it if it's done really well, and I feel this one was done really well. So, I'm gonna shut up now, and we're gonna get straight into it, okay? It's the only chapter, it's a one-shot. Chapter 1, I Didn't Know That I Was Lost. Hopping along one of the many paths outside of Ponyville, Pinkie Pie hummed a random tune while she enjoyed the beautiful scenery. Having just finished her rounds, checking her emergency ball stashes, there was little else left to do. Not that this bothered the pink mare one bit, as there was always something going on in the deceptively sleepy little town. Either a birthday party, or a random monster invading from the Everfree. Even the occasional world-ending apocalypse caused by some poor misunderstood villain with a tragic backstory that only needed a friend and some cupcakes to change them around. Oh, and then there was Discord. Today, however, seemed like it was going to be totally uneventful. And added to the fact that it was her day off from the bakery, Pinkie was just enjoying the moment. That was right up until she spotted some strange creature sitting under a tree. She stopped, puzzling on what it could be. It sort of resembled a pony, if a pony had been shaved, stretched out, and then its ears chopped off. And then again, it looked nothing like a pony at all. Whatever it was, it seemed to be staring at something in the tree, and had its back turned to her. So, Pinkie being Pinkie, she did the first thing that came to mind, and hopped right up to say hello. "Hello, what are you?" she practically shouted, causing the creature to jump. "Oh, hello, I'm John. What are you?" The creature turned around and stuck out an arm. Pinkie looked at it a moment, seeing that instead of a hoof it had a claw, like Spike, but softer. "Oh, I'm Pinkie Pie. I'm a pony. Glad to meet ya." She grabbed the arm and shook it like Applejack taught her years ago. Tilting her head with a puzzled frown, she looked close at the creature, deciding he sounded like a little colt, maybe about Spike's age. "What's it, John? Is it a kind of dragon with no scales? And where's your tail?" Indeed, as the creature stood up, standing barely eye level with her, she saw he had no tail at. Wait. Oh, she saw he had no tail at all. It said at well, but I'm assuming it meant at all. Dragon or otherwise. The colt laughed, smiling brightly, and responded, "John is my name. I'm a human. My friends call me Little John because Big John was my father." "You don't look like a pony." The sudden change in topic took Pinkie off guard for a moment, but she bounced back quickly. "I don't?" She spun a quick circle, trying to get a better look of herself and getting another laugh from the human. "Well, I look like every pony I've ever seen. What is a pony supposed to look like then?" "Well, my dad, I went to a zoo once, and they had a pony there. It was all shaggy and furry, and it kind of looked like a little horse. They were going to let me ride him, but the line was too long. I got to pet him, though. He was really shaggy, like a rug, and his hair covered his eyes." "Oh, I know a pony in town that kind of looks like that, and his name is Shaggy. But most people don't like it. Most ponies don't like him." She pondered, tapping a hoof on her chin. Suddenly getting an idea, she grinned again, sizing the little human up. Ooh, I know. You're small enough. You can ride me if you wanted to." The human's eyes lit up, and he grinned happily. "Oh, can I really? That's awesome." "Yep, Rooney, just climb aboard the Pinkie Pie Express." Crouching down, she let the pale creature climb onto her back. With a spring, she leapt back to her hooves and grinned back at him. His feet just barely touched the ground, and when he bent his knees, he was seated easily. Pinkie was actually surprised at how light he was, weighing no more than a pony full, despite his taller height. She supposed he would most likely be no bigger than most children if he was to stand on 4 legs like a proper pony. Suddenly, John gave a tap on her barrel and a tug on her mane, shouting, "Hi-ho, Pinkie, away!" Pinkie reared back, flailing her forehooves like a fierce war pony and whinnied happily before taking off at a gallop. She was careful to use her natural talent for balance to make sure the human never fell off, and he seemed to have his own special talent for staying glued to her back as she charged down the dirt road. His laughter urged her on, and she merrily galloped down the lane, dodging the occasional pothole and even leaping over a fence or two bordering the pathway. As her heart pumped, a giggling laugh bubbled forth from the pink mare. The laughter and cheers from her little passenger urged her on while she barreled around the roads toward Sweet Apple Acres. Finally coming to a stop, she crouched down as the human leapt off her back with a mighty whoop. She panted and laughed, trying to catch her own breath as her passenger danced and cheered. "Woohoo! That was awesome! I never went that fast before. It was like I was flying." Suddenly he was hugging the earth pony, and they both laughed. "Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? It was all like whoosh, and you were all like, yeah! I bet that's what Applejack feels like at a rodeo." Falling on her back, Pinkie began to roll around the grass as she gasped for breath. John joined her, and they lay back, looking up at the sky. Suddenly, Pinkie had a thought, and she gasped, "Oh, I just realized. I never met you before, and that means you're new, and because I know every pony, and if you're new, that means I need to throw you a party to welcome you to Ponyville." "Oh yeah, I guess I am new. I don't even know where I am or how I got here, but a party sounds awesome." Leaning up on one elbow, the human looked surprised. "Oh, and even better, because tomorrow is my birthday." "Awesome! So tomorrow I can throw you a Welcome to Ponyville birthday bash. I can invite all my friends and they can all meet you, and you can see what real ponies look like, except for Shaggy, who looks kind of like the Shaggy pony you saw." Rambling on, Pinkie scratched her head and paused. "How old are you anyway, and are you a boy human or a girl human?" "Well, duh, I'm a boy, 'cause girls are creepy and gross, and tomorrow I'll be turning 8 years old." Grinning proudly, the boy sat up and crossed his arms. "Oh, not all girls are creepy, Johnny. Most of my best friends are girls, or mares, and most of them are really neat. I bet you will love meeting them." Rolling to her hooves, Pinkie held out a hoof to help the boy up. "Just wait, you can meet them and see how funny. Just wait, you can meet them and see how fun they are." "Well, I don't know. Maybe if they are girl ponies, they won't be so gross. If they're girl ponies, they won't be so gross and girly. I mean, you're cool, Pinkie, and you're a girl pony, right?" Scratching his head, John looked as if he was trying to convince himself of the possibility of a girl that wasn't anything other than a pest. His mom is cool, after all, and she's a girl, although she was also a mom, so that didn't really count. "That's the spirit. So what are we going to do next? I have the rest of the day with nothing to do, except plan your superific party, of course." Bouncing in place, the manic pony grinned with the prospect of spending more time with her new friend. Suddenly, John looked up, as if hearing someone calling him. His face clouded over, and he started to look worried. "Actually, I think I gotta go. I had a real fun time hanging out with you, Pinkie Pie, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow." As the human turned to go, Pinkie held out a hoof. "Wait, don't go. We still have lots of fun stuff to do, and I want you to meet my other friends." Before she could hear a reply, he stepped around the tree and seemed to vanish. Running desperately, she circled the tree, calling his name, but her newest friend seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Ears splayed back, a frown crept onto the party pony's face as she felt a tear form in her eye. Before it could fall, however, she wiped it away and forced a smile back into place. Her new friend said he would be back, and she had an awesome party to arrange. With a new spring in her step, she started back toward Sugar Cube Corner, humming a song that happened to pop in her head. She wasn't sure where the tune had come from, but it just felt right. The party was planned, invitations were delivered, and everything else was ready. It was only after that Pinkie realized something was wrong. She had no idea where or when to meet her new friend. She waited by the tree he had vanished at, but John never appeared. Then she waited a bit more where she had met him, and yet he still failed to appear. It was finally when she was about to give up, the party planned to start in just minutes, that she heard a boyish giggle, and she turned to see John sitting in the tree holding a bright blue ball. "I finally got it. I was wondering how it got stuck up on there anyway when I met you yesterday." Tossing it down, he swung from the lowest branch and landed in front of the pink mare, instantly dropping to his rump with a loud oof. "Careful, Johnny. You don't want to hurt yourself falling out of trees on your birthday." Pinkie hugged him tightly, trying to hide the worry on her face. This earned another giggle in response. "Your hair tickles, Pinkie Pie. With a quick hand, he tickled one of her ears, which she quickly pulled away with a twitch. Well, your hands tickle! Together they laughed, and she helped him get to his feet. So are you ready for your super-tastic party? Heck yeah, I am. Let's go, my faithful steed. With a hop, he landed on Pinkie's back and held on to her mane. Whee! Cried the party pony. God, I'm bad at voices. Cried the party pony as she reared back and then shot off towards the town. In minutes, they were coming up on Sugar Cube Corner, and not a pony could be seen in sight. Pinkie grinned to herself, knowing this meant that every pony was inside, waiting for the guest of honor. So the party could begin. Motioning for John to hop off, she told him to wait outside for her to introduce him, and quickly stepped inside. Oh, there you are, Pinkie. We were all wondering what happened to you. Twilight spotted her as she came into the door and quickly trotted over. Every pony's here and the party's ready to start. Where's your new friend you wanted us to meet? Yes, darling, we're just... Oh, crap, that's Rarity. I don't know how to do Rarity. Yes, darling, we're just dying to meet the little scamp. I even brought my sister to meet him since you said he's so young. Maybe she can get herself a little cult friend. Ew! All three of the Cutie Mark Crusaders responded at once, making various sick gestures. Seriously, sis, cults are gross. Stop trying to hook me up, and just let me have fun with my friends. Wow, that seems like the most stereotypical teenage girl response to that sort of thing. Anyway, well, I mean not teenager, like child, but with a mix of teen. Moving on, Sweetie Belle rolled her eyes at her older sister, while the other two girls just nodded in agreement. Yeah, Rarity, you're a dressmaker, not a matchmaker. Rainbow Dash joined the fillies in a group eye roll before turning to Pinkie Pie. So where is the kid anyway, Pinkie? You can't very well have a birthday party without the birthday boy. Don't you worry, Dash. He's right outside, so everybody get ready. She slowly opened the door and took a deep breath. Ladies and gentlemen, fillies and friends, I present to you John the Human. With a wave of her hoof, she took a little bow and motioned for her friend to enter. Her eyes closed, she waited several moments for a reaction until she heard a polite cough. Looking up, she saw the concerned looks on her friends' faces and boredom in the case of Rainbow Dash. Where is he? Fluttershy quietly broke the silence before ducking behind her mane. Turning around, Pinkie spotted John standing shyly in the doorway, waving. Hi. Again, the polite cough. Turning back. Again, the polite cough. Turning back, Pinkie saw confusion and boredom on her friends' faces. Still waiting here, Pinks. Dash crossed her arms as she hovered in place there. I guess they're arms. I don't know. Girls, he's right there. I know he looks a little strange, but that's because he's a human. Pointing to the open doorway behind her, she saw the looks on her faces grow grim. What's a human? Rainbow Dash dropped to the floor, scratching her head. Pinkie, I don't think this prank was a very nice one. We all got things to do. Applejack looked downright angry. She stomped a hoof. We all appreciate your parties and stuff. If and you're not going to be serious about it, we just might not come next time. Hey, I left Mac... Hey... Crap. Hey, I left Mac out doing all the chores so I could attend. Yeah, Pinkie, I had a report to work on it, and I'm sure Rarity has orders to fill. Twilight rolled her eyes, getting an affirmative nod from the fashionista. Quite right. Playing a prank is one thing, but ruining everybody's day is out of line, even for you, Pinkie. With a toss of her head, the white mare started for the door, the rest of the group grumbling as they started to follow her. Wait, what are y'all talking about? He's right here, can't you see him? Stepping over to her friend, she patted him on the head and even went so far as to shake him gently. Pinkie, why can't they see me? John tilted his head, looking at all the ponies that seemed to look right through him. I don't know, Johnny. I could see you just fine. Looking at the angry and disappointed looks from her friends, she started to panic. Pinkie Pie, give it up. It was a dumb prank and you got called on it. Believe me, I know dumb pranks. Rainbow Dash made the push past Pinkie and then walked right through the little boy as if he wasn't even there. Pinkie's eyes grew wide and John jumped back, looking down at himself in surprise. What just happened? He cried out, and then stepped over to put his hand on Pinkie's mane. It easily made contact, and he was able to feel its fluffy texture as he ran his fingers through the curls. In response, the pink mare leaned into his hand, feeling comforted by its solidity. Unaware of this, the other ponies filed out of the shop, one by one, giving their own looks of disapproval. I am disappointed in you, Pinkie, muttered Twilight as she levitated Spike onto her back and trotted out the door. The young dragon didn't say a word, only looking back at Pinkie with confusion and sadness. Finally, after all the other ponies had left, Pinkie turned to see only Fluttershy remaining, looking rather sad. Oh, Pinkie, I just wanted you to know, I didn't mind the prank too much. I really didn't have anything better to do today. It was still kind of nice to be with all my friends. Looking down, the yellow Pegasus slowly scratched a hoof against the floor before going on. But, if you don't mind, could you invite Discord too next time? He's one of our friends too, and I'm sure he would have liked the prank. That is, if you don't mind. Without waiting for an answer, the last pony trotted out into the street, leaving a stricken Pinkie Pie in her wake. What just happened? Turning to her new human friend, Pinkie found herself completely alone at an empty party. There was no sign of the boy, and as tears threatened to fall, she felt the joy flowing out of her like a draining bathtub. Not even an alligator was left, as her heart broke and her hair started to uncurl. But it wasn't a prank. Several days went by, and every morning Pinkie would arrive at the tree. Every day she stared up the blue ball in the branches, one of the many emergency ball stashes around Ponyville. Every day her friends came and tried to talk to her, but she only shrugged and ignored them. She knew she wasn't crazy. She knew John was real, and she knew that he would be back, and he wanted to be there to meet him. Pinkie Pie, you gotta snap out of it. This isn't funny anymore, and the others are getting worried. Rainbow Dash tried to give her friend a hug, but she was shrugged off. She tried sitting next to her, looking at the ball, wondering what was so fascinating. She even tried bringing the ball down and giving it to her friend, and finally got a reaction. However, all that happened was Pinkie tossed the ball back into the tree, sighed, and went back to staring at it. Dash really started to worry, since she hadn't seen Pinkie's hair straight like this since that one disastrous birthday over a year ago. I'm sorry, Pinkie, I just can't do this anymore. Finally, boredom won out, and with one last hug, she flew off. Other friends came and went. Darling, you really must stop this foolishness. Ponies are starting to talk, and frankly, the girls and I are quite worried about your behavior. Nuzzling her pink friend, Pinkie tried to coax a reaction, but all was in vain. Pinkie dear, please come back to us. We miss you all. We all miss you terribly. Blinking, she leaned closer, thinking she heard a response, only to discover that her friend was merely humming a song to herself. It was a strange tune, one that she didn't recognize. Part of it seemed happy, and yet part seemed so forlorn that it made her heart break to hear it. Finally, with a weary sigh, she wandered off, muttering to herself, to find help and solace from her other friends. On the fourth day, Pinkie trotted up to John's tree, and she had started thinking of it, and sat down. She had with her a small lunch in her saddlebag, so she wouldn't have to leave, and she settled down for another day of waiting. No pony had come to talk her out of it the day before, and while part of her heart hurt that her friends had given up, mostly she was glad that they had finally stopped telling her how crazy she was for waiting. She wasn't crazy. She had never been crazy, only different. She saw the world in a unique way, and she had long ago learned to keep most of what she saw to herself. John was no different. And who had the right to say she was wrong? Fluttershy swore she could talk to her animal friends when no pony else understood them. Why couldn't Pinkie Pie see the interconnections that made friendships and hear the songs that made them happy? She just did. And as she waited, she heard the song, Johnny's song, echo through her mind. She couldn't help but hum along, and as a sad smile made its home upon her face. But then suddenly, she wasn't hearing it in her head. Suddenly, someone was humming the song along with her, and she perked her ears up to locate the source. Her smile growing, she hopped up to canter around the tree, and there, sitting among the roots, was her friend. He was looking a bit paler, and his clothes had changed, but it was him. Gone were the blue denim pants and the striped shirt, replaced with a soft robe and slippers on his feet. But despite this, he was smiling, looking up at the blue ball stuck in the tree. Johnny! Leaping up in the air, Pinkie felt her hair inflate like a balloon, and she landed with a bound in front of her friend, who opened his eyes and beamed at her. Pinkie Pie, I missed you so much! Leaping to his feet, the little boy threw himself at the pink mare, wrapping his arms around her and burying his face in her mane. I'm so sorry I was gone for so long, but they tried to take you away, and I couldn't find you again. I felt so lost and alone, and I missed you so much. Tears wet Pinkie's coat and mane as she gently hugged the little child and tried to comfort him, making soft noises like her Granny Pie used to do when she was a little filly. It's okay now. It's okay. Pinkie's here and you're safe. Giving him a tighter squeeze, she felt her own tears forming as she closed her eyes. No pony's gonna take me away from you, Johnny. I'm scared, Pinkie. I don't know where I was, but there were people in white and they tried to take you away. I tried to tell them you were real, but it was like your friends. They didn't believe me. No pony would listen. Nobody would listen, and then finally they gave you back, and I heard you singing and hugging her again. The lost little boy held the mare and sobbed. Pinkie just held him until the shaking stopped and his breathing grew even. Looking down, she saw that he had fallen asleep, a little smile on his face. It was like looking down at the face of a sleeping angel, and her heart melted as she eased him onto her back. Careful not to let him slip, she gathered her things and trotted off towards her home at Sugar Cube Corner. Yeah, so that's the end of part 1. It's a long story. We've been going for about 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna do it up in parts. We're about a third of the way through, so I guess if it goes about the same pace, it should be 3 parts for this story. As always, the link for the story will be in the description. Yeah, I guess that's all there is to say. And like I said in the beginning, this story, it's different from when I say sad stories, like I said, I meant dark stories. Like, it's 300 years in the future, Twilight is alive, but all her friends are dead, and she goes into evil. No, I don't want that. I don't like stories like that. I'm talking about I can do sad stories like this, 'cause it's sad, and that's the truth. It's a sad story, but it does it in such a way that it's really good. If you've read the story, then you would know what the hell I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't blame you, because it's probably not making much sense right now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video here today, and I will see you guys for part 2, or whatever chapter of a ghost story I'm on right now. Either way. See you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great day.